some snacking. Kentucky in the all blue. Northwestern in the pinstripes for today's 1-0 matchup. Aaron Koffel, junior from Bremen, Indiana, .433 hitter. 18 home runs, one of the leaders. First team All-SEC player, NCAA National and SEC Player of the Week back in March. The second team All-American in 2022. National Player of the Year finalist last year. 53 career home runs. Heading into the postseason. One of the best to ever don a Kentucky Wildcats uniform. Extended her streak of reaching base safely to 40 consecutive games yesterday. She's very good at drawing the walk as well. Make it 41. Leaves it off with a single.
Well, and to your point about being able to draw the walk, when you have such a good eye when you can draw a walk, you force the pitch in the zone. This pitch, outside corner, elevated just a touch, and Koffel sends it into the outfield. Solid hit. Leadoff hitter on for Kentucky. This is a Kentucky team, like you said, turned it on late in yesterday's game, looking to maybe be a little bit different here and turn it on early here in the first inning.
Kayla Kowalik, 2-hole, starting catcher, one of the best catchers in the country. First team All-SEC player as well, all defensive team for the senior from New Braunfels, Texas, just south of Austin. Led the SEC in batting average, 8th amongst all players in the NCAA, 7th in hits with 77. You see Rachel Lawson's 16th season. 18 years total, winning as head coach in program history, 13 straight 30-win seasons. That ball goes foul, but when we talked to Coach Lawson after the game yesterday, what she said for her team was, hey, really felt like we just got lucky, had it. Not lucky in the sense of couldn't happen, but the inning that they had in putting runs together, it wasn't a string of hits that they had done. They connected with some balls and had a good inning, not necessarily a comprehensive game hitting.
Yeah, and she did talk about, you know, just admitting it was a lot closer than what she had anticipated throughout the game. And yeah, just one good inning doesn't always bring you to a win, especially in new games.
This ball is in play, over to short, fielded by Nelson, who whips it over to second. Nito covering to get the lead runner down, but Kowalik is on.
And a great job by Nelson. She knew that she had to release this quick with Koffel's speed, picks it up, turns it, makes the force out, the leadoff force out. And that's the kind of defense that Northwestern has to be successful this game. They have to play clean. They have to be quick, especially in the top of this lineup here.
Northwestern, good fielding team, .973 the percentage coming into postseason, 3rd in the Big Ten, 35th amongst all NCAA teams. The aforementioned Taylor Ebbs, 5 runs batted in yesterday. She has to feel pretty comfortable in this park.
Yeah, and if I'm scouting after watching Taylor Ebbs yesterday, I'm going to be really careful about letting her extend her hands too much. That first pitch delivered to her inside.
Well, look at what the day will do. She goes from a 188 average to 210 just over the course of one ball game.
And I just love what Rachel Lawson said about her. And, you know, you want to put somebody in a position, somebody who's creating RBI has to be selfless in a lot of situations. And she relies on Taylor Ebbs in that position. She's selfless. She's about scoring runs and doing what it takes. Absolutely earned that 3 spot yesterday.
In play over to the left side of the infield. A tough play for Katie. This runner now caught in a jam. Now 2 runners caught in a jam. A chance to get 2 outs, but diving back in Wow, that turned dramatically. Talked about fielding sharp, clean play.
What an awesome job by the base runners, Koffel and Kowalik there in this game. A short hop that Hannah Katie pulls back on, and Koffel looking to go 3 on the throw. And when Katie pulls back, she's kind of caught in the middle. Nelson then tries to make the tag. It's too late, thinks she can tag one of the runners. Kowalik gets back. She's safe. Excuse me, Ebbs is safe.
Kowalik diving into third there, so Kowalik looks like maybe wanting a second to walk gingerly back to the bag, but.
And this is certainly not the person you want feeling a little bit hurt.
Not a lot of give on the dirt.
Yeah, she kind of hit the ground hard there. Trying to shake it off here.
The result of the sequence is Kowalik in the rundown was not out. Ebbs in the rundown as well. She is safe at second. Kowalik, you see there, is safe over at third, so 2 in scoring position. But just 1 out for Kennedy Sullivan.
A perfect base running by Ebbs and Kowalik. Just outstanding. And aggressiveness matters. You can figure out how to be aggressive. That's kind of how Kentucky got into quote-unquote that mess in the first place, but worked in their advantage, both with speed, putting a little bit of pressure on this defense.
Sullivan, graduate level player from Georgetown, Kentucky, began her career at Western Kentucky, came in hitting .253, 24 runs batted in. Bunt down, trying to flip to home. No coverage over at first. The ball hits the back of Sullivan. Both runs in. Kowalik and Ebbs. Kentucky, the first runs of the contest.
You have to be quick with these base runners. You can feel a little bit like this game's moving a little too fast for Northwestern. Just a perfect squeeze. Kowalik going on the bunt. Boyd tries to do her best to make that throw on the run, but ultimately too late when she looks to make that toss to home first. Gets away from Cochran at first base and allows Ebbs to score as well. But again, you just feel the pace of this game is just going a little bit faster than Northwestern wants it to at this point.
The run rule victory over Miami, Ohio, 9-1 yesterday.
And take a look at this squeeze. Look at the back foot. Excuse me, the front foot. As you look, her foot is actually on the outside of the box on the other direction. A lot of times when you see a batter outside the box, it's towards the plate. But she was outside the box when she made contact.
That ball laced down the third base line. So Kentucky capitalizing on the opportunity they had. It could have been for Northwestern in that rundown. Think back, could have been 2 outs, but Kentucky now 2 runs, 2 on, 2 in scoring position.
And this shot, an inside pitch that Lorson does a great job just getting out in front of and turning on it, drives it right down this line past Hannah Katie at third base, keeps going into that corner, allows Sullivan to get all the way to third, Lorson all the way to second base, and the hits just keep coming.
What a weekend for Grace Lorson thus far. Perfect at the plate, 4 for 4 as Kentucky passing the bat. Miko Harrison he's at the first offering.
Boyd hasn't thrown that changeup, I think, nearly as often as maybe she needs to. And some of these hitters that have really been attacking the fast stuff on the corners. You see Danielle Williams already up in the bullpen. Even on that throw, Jordan Rubb making the throw to keep Kennedy Sullivan honest. And it gets away a little bit from Katie. That's kind of that defense you got to clean up. You can tell Northwestern may be a little shaken here.
Scoring-wise, Kennedy Sullivan, it was an air charge to Boyd. Throwing-wise, she does get an RBI, Sullivan.
You can see the defense moved in, trying to take away not only the short game from Harrison, but catch that runner at third, Sullivan, out at home if they can.
Ball bouncing over the head is short. Another run in as Sullivan crosses. Harrison delivers. Kentucky with 3 in the top of the first.
And Harrison just using this hard ground. This is a hard infield. If you can chop the ball into the ground, good things can happen. Look how high that bounce went, hopping right in front of the plate and then getting all the way into the outfield. No play can be made, especially when your defense is moved in. Kentucky feeling it offensively.
Yeah, if you want any indication as to how hard the infield is, ask Kowalik, and when we saw her trying to dive into third, it does look quite firm. Pinch hitter coming in, so Kentucky gets a great start. Sent 6 to the plate. Jenna Blanton was supposed to be in this hitting spot, but Lauren Borzilleri, freshman from Riverside, California. 125 hitter on the year, 16 at-bats coming into this game, 2 hits, 5 strikeouts, 5 walks. Does have 3 runs batted in. Still just 1 out. The Boyd in the circle.
For Boyd, she's just got to battle through this, find some out pitches here, let her defense do the work. But they've got to play clean behind her as well.
.23 pitches so far.
And this is certainly not a batter that you want to let get away from you. Just pinch hitter coming off, even in the first inning to me though. Maybe not as mentally prepared as some of the other batters in the lineup, so you always want to attack them as much as you can.
2-2, skirts foul.
Daniel Williams has gotten back into the dugout, ready to go, potentially to go in maybe after you see how this run goes. And there's a break.
And Miko Harrison heading back to dugout.
Yeah, Miko Harrison leaving a little bit early and called out. So now 2 outs. Changes the dynamic of this inning.
Wilson still on third as Borzilleri.
Remember, she cannot leave until it leads Boyd's hand. Yep, just taking a step off a little bit early. Going on the play, a hit and run.
Jason Smith, the ump over at first, right on it as ball 4 is low. So it could have been bases loaded, now is still runners on the corners after the pinch hitter, Borzilleri, walks. Blanton will re-enter to run. Eighth batter coming to the plate to begin the ball game for Kentucky, Vanessa Nesby. Junior from Corona, California.
You don't see Kentucky looking to steal as much on this first and third, even trying to get in a rundown to push another run across right now. Choosing to play it straight up, let their bats do the work, but why not? Because their bats are hot right now.
373 is Nesby for the season. 124 at-bats, 47 hits, 6 runs batted in, 6 walks, 15 strikeouts, couple extra base hits, 1 double and 1 triple, no home runs. Four hits thus far on the board for Kentucky against Lauren Boyd. Chop foul.
And Lauren Boyd, typically, I mean, her swing throughs on her at bats are generally around 18%. She's not getting very many swing throughs at all. Right now, Kentucky is doing a phenomenal job getting their bat on the ball, fouling off what they don't like. It's ultimately led to their success this inning.
2-2 is in play, over to short, long throw, does get Nesby, so Boyd and Northwestern finally get out of the first inning. As an Olympian, played in 4 games against the U.S., Japan, Mexico, and Canada. Had a 3.62 ERA, started 1 game through 9 2/3 innings. Both parents are Italian. Dad was born in New Jersey, but mom in Italy. So spent some time in Italy across the course of the pandemic. Got to know the national coach and then pitch for Italy and earn those Olympic rings. So bring some of that big game experience. You can hear the Northwestern crowd fired up. Overall 12 seed in the tournament, Skylar Shellmeyer.
I think a lot rides on what Shellmeyer's doing. I think this offense really, really follows what she does in her first at-bat. And she's certainly one that needs to find a way to get on base to kind of answer back in some of those runs that were scored. And see a lot of pitches as well.
You had mentioned yesterday just 5 hits for Northwestern going up against Olivia Price of Eastern Illinois. EIU in the NCAA tournament for the first time. Shellmeyer on the year, 333, 45 games that she has started as that boots into shallow left field.
You see the energy that Shellmeyer brings to her team. So key to get this hit. This is what Shellmeyer does so beautifully. Sends it to shallow left field. Gets that barrel out. And just lifts it into the outfield to get on base.
Northwestern team Big Ten tournament champs. That was prior to the NCAA's Big Ten sweep. Second time they've done so in program history. Last was in 08, their 9th Big Ten regular season championship, 2nd consecutive. That's the first time since 86, 87. Trying to go to back-to-back Women's College World Series. Freshman Kansas Robinson. Big Ten all-freshman team. Team leading OPS. Just the second time a first-year player has led the team in OPS. Rachel Lewis did it. It's a 13-game on-base streak. Includes that solo shot yesterday. Average at 303. It's her 100th at bat. 30 hits, 6 doubles, 1 triple, 7 home runs. Swing and a miss, strikeout for La Quintana.
And you could see the hesitation from Robinson, not really sure where that ball was going to move. The spin got her on it as it cut a little bit low and away. You see how Robinson had to kind of think about it, swung through it. Huge K after giving up a hit for La Quintana.
Jordan Rudd, batter for Northwestern, fouls the first pitch off. From Greenwood, Indiana. One of the 5 graduate level players, all coming back. Try to go further than they did last year. Second team, all Big Ten player, all defensive as well, the starting catcher. 3rd consecutive time she's been named to the all defensive team. Career .357 hitter in the NCAAs. It's maybe most impressive too about Rudd. To play the catching position, she has not missed a start in her career. This number 239.
And she has taken so much command behind the plate defensively, but her bat.
Hard hit out to left center. That over the wall. Northwestern with the response off the bat of Jordan Rudd.
I was just about to say her bat can do great things too. Showing what she can do here, seeing this pitch. This is an up and out pitch, not necessarily in that strike zone. But Rudd sits on it, drives it, and sends it out of the park. Answering back to inning number 1. Top of this inning, where Kentucky took 3. Northwestern taking 2 back right there.
That's the way to get your home crowd back into it. Get your momentum going. First pitch swung on, going back to center. That bounces off the S, and Wildcats for Hannah Katie. It's in with a stand-up double.
What an exciting game so far. We're only in the first inning. This is a Northwestern Wildcat team that does not give up. A 3-run deficit means nothing to a team that continually fights. We talk about the veteran status. This is what they do and what they do well as Katie sends this one. Bouncing off that wall, stand-up double. A team that knows they have to fight when they get behind, and they're showing what they can do big time.
Jay, I think the question you and I were talking about coming into this game, it would be who would hit Kentucky.
Yeah.
They did score 9 runs yesterday, but it was quiet 9 runs. Wasn't a bunch of hits strung together, but who could find their offense? Kentucky capitalizes in their first chance at the plate. Northwestern responds immediately. We were thinking maybe a low run score in the field, but maybe this is going to be a race to 12, 15 runs.
No doubt about that. Kentucky kind of answering back from where they left off last game. Northwestern knowing they kind of had to respond to that.
Nikki Cochran, another one of those 5 that came back from Downers Grove, Illinois first team, all Big Ten player, 2nd consecutive time. 324 her average now on the year. Skies this ball into shallow right center. Easy catch for Ebbs. It's been a quiet start to the regional for one of the leaders for Northwestern. But she has to like what she's seen from her team response-wise. 2 down. There's a runner in scoring position with Katie. Angela Zedak, senior, here in Chicago. Big cut, first offering. Zedak improved her batting average over 70 points from last year. It's now sitting at 313. Last year she hit 240. She has career highs in average, hits, home runs, slug, and on base percentage. Also runs scored. If you had to use one word to describe this Northwestern team, it would be veteran.
Yeah.
They are experienced. They have been to Women's College World Series. They returned 8 from last year's team that did such. Played the regional at home last year as well. Oh, make the catch. Oh, there was a fan out in the football practice field that is also a warm-up field for Northwestern. He had a great sideline on it.
He did. I kind of thought
that was an easy grab.
He even had a ball glove.
There's a young fan taking in the game.
There's another chance.
You got another shot.
And I think, Tyler, when you talk about just being veteran and having experience, it allows you to not let moments get too big. I think we saw a Miami team yesterday that kind of let it get away from them. And here in Northwestern, you're showing in veteran status that they're kind of fighting back. We've got Danielle Williams in that bullpen, getting her arm a little bit loose again. I think the question would be, do you put Danielle Williams in? I think in the best situation for both of these teams, you have to get the W today. You don't want to be in a position with your pitchers where you have to win too.
Okay, so my question, does Drohan go with Williams when we come back from break? What do you think?
My gut says yes.
Yeah, the intensity on this one cranked up quickly. That's exactly what we want here in postseason. 9-hole, Margaret Tobias.
Well, this is always to me, the most difficult game on a Saturday, but it's so important for these teams to get that win, to not have to fight from behind in a championship game tomorrow if they make it. You always want to stay in that winner's bracket.
Tobias on the ground, and it just kind of dies between the trio of defenders, Nito, Cochran, and Boyd, who does remain in the circle. That was the question when we went to break. Did Northwestern make a change? But this ball...
Well, just beautiful game plan to use that ground, perfectly placed. And Nito charging it, the closest one to it. Cochran has to go back and tag, and that's kind of from these lefty slappers the next time through the lineup where you have to expect to see a little bit of a change when it comes to the defense for Northwestern.
Well, Kentucky has swag surfed their way all the way through 9 hitters thus far, and the question we had, would there be a change in the circle? It looks like now, after seeing just one batter, does Kate Drohan, the head coach for Northwestern, and now she does want to make the change and go with their ace, graduate level player Danielle Williams from Pleasanton, California. Saw her yesterday, impressive double-digit strikeouts, first team all Big Ten tournament MOP. What'd you think of the performance yesterday?
Well, she was just phenomenal. She had great spin on her ball, great movement. She threw the changeup a ton, and she was able to get a lot of swing and misses. She brings that changeup in the zone as well, and so she was able to get swing and misses, called strikes, called third strikes, and she was just solid. 10 strikeouts on the day. Such a leader in that circle, and it makes sense to pull Boyd when you can. She's had good innings for the team throughout the season, so to give her a second chance here in the second inning until it looks like Kentucky's going to kind of continue what they did in the first inning, now you make the switch, put your veteran in, put your most experience and your best arm in the circle. It makes a lot of sense.
There's a player in Williams, if my late night math was correct, adding in yesterday's game. She's pitched 102 innings in the postseason. She has 110 strikeouts in the NCAA tournament, has allowed 48 runs across those 102 innings. So now, really kind of feels like the start to a new contest, that Kentucky has a 1-run advantage, but you put Williams in there, top of the order.
Yeah, it's like a reset here in the second inning. Top of the order, you got a runner on base, so you got a little bit in your advantage, but this is where you want to be in the lineup if you're Kentucky, especially when you're answering to the ace of the staff in Northwestern. Is let the top of your lineup really show how to hit her, what to do. Koffel, absolutely that person that you want at the plate to kind of set the tone.
Mentioned it first time up before Koffel got the single. Pretty impressive at getting on 40 consecutive games, 62 walks. she had drawn coming into this NCAA tournament.
When you have somebody that walks that much as a pitcher, you have to consider that because she walks so much, you can't throw your pitches too far away. She's not going to expand the strike zone, which allows Koffel really to get some better pitches. If she is that patient, she hits stuff in the zone.
That's an unreal amount of walk.
Unreal.
I've been informed we are on 7 innings live right now, and what a great moment to see is over the wall. Kowalik. Kentucky answers right back.
Kayla Kowalik, oh my goodness. Taking this pitch, the fast stuff. This is who you attack. That first pitch swinging for Kayla Kowalik. She sends this over the fence. Taking 3 runs and putting them back on the board for Kentucky. Now expanding this lead to 4 runs.
Number 3, Taylor.
That's a way to introduce a new pitcher into a game.
Now Williams, no time to catch her breath going against the hot-hitting Ebbs. Because what a response from Kentucky to say, okay, put your ace in the circle, and we're going to continue doing what we did to begin this contest.
That's the best part about it to me in this sport is you put a new pitcher in, the batters want to welcome her to the game in the best way they know how, and you know, Kentucky coming through huge with a big bomb. I mean, the top of this lineup so hard. We know that she got banged up a little bit as she slid into third, and you can see how she kind of is running. She got, you can see like a little bit of a limp there as she was rounding first base.
Yeah, just a little hitch in the gait of the starting catcher, but I'm sure feels a little better when you're making that round of third.
Well, it helps when you're trotting versus sprinting.
Jump on home plate and put your team at a 4-run advantage. Wow, we have 8 runs thus far. There are no outs in the top of the 2nd inning. Kentucky went 10-14 in SEC play. They closed out the regular season winning 2 of 3 against Florida, then just 1 game in the SEC tournament, a 6-2 loss to Florida. They've played an extremely difficult schedule, including the game that these two played against one another. 55 games coming into the NCAA tournament, 8 against Women's College World Series teams from 22, 65% against NCAA tournament teams from last year. They had played 33 games, record of 17-16. And representing a conference that gets 12 of their 13 teams in the SEC into the NCAA tournament. And I think the great thing that we're going to find out over the course of this weekend, you're already seeing it play out, is how good was the SEC. They were playing one another, and it's always hard to get indication. But then when they go out into regionals and you get to barometer here against the Big Ten champs, you say, okay, well, can a Kentucky team go in and take a win off a team that hasn't lost here at home? See their record thus far, 11-1, 6 run rules, 2 walk-offs, 2 no-hitters. So I think thus far, the SEC looking every bit the part. Williams bouncing back with the big strikeout to sit down Ebbs.
Yeah, pitching looks good, hitting looks good. And this a great answer back from Danielle Williams, cutting across that curveball across the plate, gets Ebbs fishing, swinging through it. And that is a great resilient bounce back after giving up the home run to Kayla Kowalik.
Out to left, the ball does stay up. Zedek there to make the grab, so 2 important outs, the strikeout of Ebbs and then the quick out of Sullivan for Williams as she settles into the game.
And I think that it's really
Number 33,
interesting to see pitchers come into a game. It's always your mentality is a little bit different. When you come in relief, I think sometimes the pressure feels different. Where if you started a Williams, would she have delivered differently in inning one?
One player that has delivered in bundles, Warsung thus far, 3 for 3 yesterday, double today, so perfect in every chance at the plate. There is action in the bullpen for Northwestern. Cami Henry.
And throughout the course of the season for Northwestern, it was a team that used a bullpen. They have pitchers like Cami Henry, who's seen a lot of innings, and it looks clearly in this game that it might take more than a couple arms to keep this Kentucky offense off balance.
Try to get into the regional final. Popped up by Harrison. And there's the third out for Northwestern, but Kentucky strikes to the tune of 3. What a catcher matchup we have in this one. Kowalik on the Kentucky side, Rudd for Northwestern. Are you going to find a better catcher matchup?
No, absolutely not. Not just what they do behind the plate, but what they're doing at bat. They both hit a home run this game, but their leadership behind the plate.
Ripped by Meg Nelson back up the middle, so her first at bat, 7-hole hitter. One of the leaders for this Northwestern team on to start the second inning.
Maeve Nelson has been really seeing the ball. This ball belt high, and she just lines it right back up the middle, out in front. Great job by Maeve Nelson to set the tone here this inning. And it's no doubt going to be a battle for the rest of this game. You've got to keep putting runners on the base path. You've got to keep scoring runners.
Doesn't feel like we're going to get any 1, 2, 3 innings.
I mean, if we do, it's going to be a shock at this point. But almost can be expected. I mean, the first game that these two teams played together is a 9-3 score, Northwestern winning, but they were plating runs at that time.
Go back to yesterday, for both of these teams, maybe not nerves, but just easing their way into the tournament, where today it really feels like motion's high, fans are here, weather's good, the sun's out, there's no clouds today, but both have hit with an intensity. It's a little more intensity, it feels like. There was a lot of focus yesterday, today's focus and intense.
I think sometimes you've got to get that first win on your belt. It's so hard to come into a situation where there is high stakes and not feel like the game is bigger, even when you're experienced, even when you're an experienced Northwestern team, like we've talked about this whole time. You have to kind of get that first win to take a deep breath.
Nader pops up. Kowalik looked pretty good on the movement there to range under and grab the ball for out number 1. So down goes the first-year player, all freshman, in Nader.
Number 22, second baseman.
Look at the difference in the offense. First game yesterday, just 5 hits, the 2 runs. Today in the first inning, almost matching that. A couple less hits, but
that ball looked like bounced off of Nito before she tried to get down to first base, so will be called back. It was good placement, but then does contact.
Yeah, that ball bounced off the barrel a second time. It would have been a foul ball. And you can see she's still in the box when it hits the barrel. Good call by home plate umpire Jonathan Hand to make that quick call it a foul ball.
Great snare out of the air, up the third base line by Lorsung to get Nito.
And you have to cut it off if you're going to have slappers that are going to take the hop. That's what Northwestern has not done yet, which is cut it off. Lorsung reaches and just grabs into that, grabs that ball, pulls it in to make the throw, but you have to cut it off if you're on a corner to get that out. Not force that throw, just a well-done play.
Back to the top of the order, Schellmeyer looks at strike one. Singleton scored, first time up. This Northwestern team does have a penchant for coming from behind. 6 come from behind victories going into the 7th inning. Coach Grohan was talking to us about this team and their lack of quit.
And I do think the glory of being in the deficit right here is that it happened early on in the game, and it gives you a lot of innings to kind of fight from behind. As long as you can kind of chip away at it every inning. And on the flip side for Kentucky, you have to know that they don't give up.
3-2 second. More than enough time for Tobias. Quickest inning we have seen thus far after breezy. But the sun is shining and perfect to play trio of ball games. And this one has really opened up the day in dramatic fashion. A lot of different situations and things that we've seen today that we did not see yesterday.
Yeah, we saw it. You know, the big key in regionals is always play really clean defense. Above all, let your hitting and your pitching kind of be the variable and play clean defense. And I think we didn't see that in the first inning from Northwestern. We saw the long ball from both teams. You're right, a little bit of everything.
So starting pitcher in Lauren Boyd going to the circle for Northwestern, but taken out after one batter in the last inning. So she pitched all the way through, but that gives way to the ace for this staff, and Danielle Williams, the first teamer in the Big Ten. So a big reason why this Northwestern team has had the success they have, why they are hosting regionals, has been number 24 in the circle. Kentucky 3 runs, both times at the plate thus far. It was Kowalik that had the 3-run shot in the last inning.
We talk about 1, 2, 3 innings hard to come by, but if ever there was one, this is it.
It's a good way to get it started.
Just a great changeup. We haven't seen Williams throw it too much just yet, but this one low in the zone and funneling out. She throws this changeup in the zone over 50% of the time. This one not in the zone, but makes sense to go and attack it when you can. Big strikeout against Blanton. The next couple outs here, key. Try not to get that top of that lineup turnaround. We're at 8 and 9 here. Nesby and Tobias.
And that was Blanton's first at-bat of the game. She was pinch hit for Orsolari, came in. Blanton did re-enter to run, but strikes out. So Nesby. Grounded out to short, first time up. The infield pressed in for Northwestern.
We've seen some shading on slappers, and you see it here with Nesby. Schellmeyer there out in center field, almost playing a little bit of left center, trying to take away that shallow left field. And obviously all parts of the outfield and the infield moving in to try to take away that short game too. But it's those high hops you have to work on that hard ground.
Katie Nelson, the left side of the infield for Northwestern, with Zedak out in left field. Two-one pitch.
Williams needs to stay ahead to be successful. Sometimes struggles in issuing too many free passes, whether it be hit by pitches or walks.
Popped up is Nesby. Cochran there to make the grab for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down. Williams on the year, 20 wins, 1 loss.
Number 12,
172 strikeouts, 46 batters walked.
I still think if you're Kentucky that you have to go and attack that first pitch against Williams. Still going to be your best pitch that you're going to see the entire at-bat.
Tipped back by Tobias. Well, the Women's College World 90 NCAA championship swing and a miss. Big inning for Williams. In the circle for Northwestern goes 1, 2, 3. Her team trailing by 4, middle of the 3rd.
Metro offers.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
But
dominant.
Yeah, we had seen last year, and be interesting to continue to watch. We've talked, parodies of word that's been thrown around a lot. I talked about elevation and how we've seen teams that are at the mid-major level or teams that have historically been good programs that are able to walk into some of these regionals and assert themselves and get victories. And
UCLA, though, I mean,
good pitching performance. You get a couple hits, and wow.
Yeah, I mean, look at Grand Canyon, who found a way to beat UCLA, a team that I thought, you know, really has a chance to contend for the national title this year.
This ball hit hard out to left center. Northwestern cutting into that deficit. Second home run of the regional for the first year, Kansas Robinson.
How about Kansas Robinson stepping up in a first year, her second home run of the tournament. 1 home run one day, 1 home run another. And she just sends this pitch, great extension, right over the fence to knock another run off that deficit. Now just a 3-run hole for Northwestern. This home crowd doesn't hurt. They have to keep building that momentum to work their way back into this game.
It was Jordan Rudd that had the home run, swings at the first pitch. That will skirt out into right field. So after Robinson trots all the bases, Rudd is on. The Northwestern fans fired up the purple loud.
Just a solid liner here, going opposite side of the field, getting away from the infield. Tobias makes a great diving attempt.
It's going on at all the other regionals. We come home, especially after today, after doing 3 games, and you're like, wow, everything has happened, and it all filters in, especially all the West Coast games. It's almost like an election day, all the results filtering in.
Tell me you didn't go home, though, and go watch softball. I mean, that's what you do. You call it all day and then go watch it.
Yeah, you turn it on and get to see our colleagues that are all spread out across the country, bringing you all the action. So with Lindsay over at first, after the single from Rudd that followed the solo shot from Robinson, can Katie keep the momentum? Big cut at the offering from La Quintana.
Well, and to your point on momentum, I think the hardest hits, you got Jordan Rudd that got the home run in the first inning, Robinson in the third, big hits, but the hits after him, Katie, who got the double after the home run, Rudd, who just got that single, those are the momentum continuers. And sometimes the hardest ones to get, and when you're in a larger deficit than just 1 run at a time, you really have to continue the momentum. Home runs can sometimes be a little bit of a buzzkill in terms of momentum. You got to keep passing the bat.
Lacatena ahead, 0-2. Another one fouled over our heads. Katie doubled first time at the plate. .284 hitter now. 12 doubles. Go along with 6 home runs.
What a battle here by Lacatena.
Laced out into center field, that over the head of Blanton. So an accountant wished she was down 0-2. Hannah Katie delivers her second double of the day.
Katie getting behind in the count and still delivers a solid swing here. This one just too far over the heart of the plate. Katie delivers it way into warning track. Getting past Blanton there in center field. Talk about the energy. You cannot rule the Northwestern Wildcats out of a game. 2 in scoring position. The tying run coming to the plate here.
Kentucky lost 34 2/3 innings that she has thrown. For a pitcher that is a ground ball pitcher per your scout.
Yeah, I think no doubt the type of hitter, excuse me, the type of pitcher that you really want in the circle is just to get the outs, get the ground balls, get the pop flies. They throw a lot of curveball, some rise balls.
And what an opportunity. You would think that there will be a breakthrough. Nikki Cochran, one of the leaders, one of the best players for this Northwestern team, the first teamer in the Big Ten, who has a ton of NCAA experience, a career .307 hitter in the tournament with 19 hits. Led the team in Big Ten play in batting average, hitting .420, is hitless thus far in the home regional.
Well, with some of these big hitters in the lineup too, I mean, they're the ones that are getting scouted the most here in the postseason. If you don't have the time to scout 1 through 9, you focus on the big hitters, and Cochran's certainly one of them, but behind in the count is not always where you want to live, especially with a new pitcher that you're trying to work to adjust to.
Two runs to respond in the bottom of the first inning for Northwestern, then none in the bottom of the second, but a purple opportunity, not golden opportunity, purple for one of their 5th years in Cochran.
You could just tell that Cochran maybe questioning a little bit the pitches that are coming in, when to swing. You can see as she pulls that barrel back. Not considered a swing unless it crosses the plane of that plate.
2-2 pitch. Hard hit ball out to left field into the glove of Nesby. Runner tagging up. The throw bounces off the glove of Kowalik. So one across on the sac fly for Cochran.
Solid swing here for Nikki Cochran. Maybe needed that a little bit, sending that opposite side of the field on an outside pitch, caught right at Nesby. But enough and deep enough for Ayanna Lindsay at third base to tag and head home.
The deficit down to 2.
What a double check. That's just the first out of the inning.
Yeah. And you saw Cochran breaking it down with Dave Nelson as well as to how to approach Sloan Gahan. Nelson will await. Zidak 0 for 1. There's a strikeout. Final out of the first inning, her first time up.
Here, Zidak, you have to be prepared potentially to sit and turn on that screwball that comes in on your hands. Zidak, one of the batters that has some of the quickest bat speed that you've seen. Able to get and hit that ball right out in front and drive it down the line, score a run.
Ball in play, over at short, bobbled by Koffel. That will allow Katie to score. The deficit just one.
I mean, you can see the fight in both of these teams. This is a routine ground ball that Koffel just kind of on the release gets away from her.
Game home win streak. That's third longest in D1 behind Oklahoma and Southeast Missouri State. So big boost for this group when they get to play here at the J. Maeve Nelson was one of the players that we sat down with that talked to us about this group that they've built, this following that they've built, fans that they've added across the years that have stuck with the team, and talk about former players and their CrossFit friends that come and don the purple to cheer for the Wildcats.
Not only that, but like the tradition that Northwestern brings, that you're a Wildcat for life, and you don't leave this team. And like you said, the CrossFitters, those were friends of Rachel Lewis, who graduated last year, but yet still show up. So even their fans are Wildcats for life.
This program, 21 regional appearances, 16 under Kate Drohan, 6 regional victories last year and 19 before that. Then in 08, 07, 06, and 05, across for a strike, 6 Women's College World Series appearances. Gone in 2007 before breaking that streak last year. They are a perfect 6 for 6 Northwestern in advancing out of the regional round, and they host here in Evanston. The record 21-3 all time. Tying run over at first in Zidak with Nelson into this ball out to right field, and gone. Northwestern into the lead.
Have you seen more of a fight from a team than the Northwestern Wildcats in this game? Sending this yard, Maeve Nelson a pitch up and outside, delivers it over the fence in right center to take the lead here in this game where the long ball has made the difference for both teams. We've got ourselves a ball game.
8 players back from last year's Women's College World Series team, 5 of which are in their 5th year. They'd come back to try to advance further than they did last year. Nelson, one of those, and she has placed her team to a 7-6 advantage. 5 runs they have scored here in the bottom of the 3rd. It began with the Robinson solo shot, punctuated by Nelson. This game has had everything now.
Everything. You know, I left yesterday, even came back today thinking, what's the story of this game? And the only thing I could think about with Northwestern was they have to hit. They have to find a way to produce runs, and they are absolutely doing that today. And you can see what Kentucky's done. They started yesterday and continued where they left off. There is no doubt it is a 1-run ball game. That is way too close.
Yeah, thus far, 6 hits for Kentucky, 6 runs, 9 hits for Northwestern, and there's 7 runs across our 2 games. Yesterday we had cumulative 12 runs, 10 in the first game that Kentucky won, 9-1 run rule over Miami, Ohio, and then just 2 scored by Northwestern. But already seen 13 runs in this contest. That is in the bottom of the 3rd inning. We've seen multiple pitchers for both teams.
Well, we've kind of seen a little bit of unlikely hero here. We saw Taylor Ebbs yesterday, who's really bringing it with kind of a lower batting average, and Maeve Nelson here today. What about her? Hitting at one point during the season well under 200, and now has been phenomenal in the postseason, starting in the Big Ten tournament till now.
So the walk to Nader in the 8 hole. Take her spot over at first. Nito was due up representing the 9 hole, but Bridget Donahue, a first-year player from Phoenix, Arizona. 36 games that she has played, 8 games that she started heading into. And number 5 walks to the plate. So I got 5 on it. I like that. That's good walk-up selection right there. Tip of the cap to Bridget.
Entering the game and now batting for Northwestern, number 5, Bridget Donahue.
So can Donahue build on this lead? That bounces the high pitch off the glove of Bullock behind home, and skirting over to second does Nader.
And you think maybe delivering a rise ball here just in case there's a bunt situation. This one just gets too far away. Kowalik can't quite get up and grab it. Not much gets past Kowalik. A wild pitch there for Gahan.
Donahue takes the strike.
If you're Gahan, you want to find a pitch that you can get Donahue to swing through, coming cold off the bench. This is your opportunity to get out number 2 now, behind 3-1 in that count. Donahue swing and miss, 34% swinging through the pitches.
Well, Northwestern has definitely found something at the plate. It's a home run. It started, then a single, double, the sac fly from Cochran that was still good contact, then single from Zedak, the home run from Nelson, the walk to Nader. Get to ask Coach Drohan about that and what emotionally has swung pendulum-wise back and forth all day. Thus far is low for ball 4. Donahue points to Schellmeyer, who will walk in. Is Northwestern passing the bat right now? Kentucky, it looks like, and Rachel Lawson, their head coach, at the plate. With 2 on in Nader and Donahue, top of the order. 9 batters have been to the plate for Northwestern in this bottom of the 3rd inning, in which they've scored 5 runs thus far.
Kentucky seeking to find a little bit of consistency in the circle.
Back up the middle, the tag applied to get Donahue going for second. So second out of the inning, and it's Kansas Robinson who got everything started with the solo shot.
Yeah, this solo shot was off LaCantina. She was able to deliver this one over the fence and ultimately start the rally in this game. Started with the home run, Rudd followed up with the hit, and then they put Gahan in. The rest of the production off Gahan. Now Kansas Robinson having to face a new pitcher here.
And the story for Robinson is really the inverse of what you see with first-year players. She had caught fire in conference play. Usually is when a first year hits the wall in conference play, and the scouts out there, but she really stepped it up to lead the team as one of their best hitters across Big Ten play. Mentioned just the second first-year player. Northwestern refers to their freshman as first year to lead the team in OPS. Rachel Lewis was the other. All Big Ten freshman teamer.
Look at the movement by Kowalik behind the plate. How good is she to kind of get there, get that short hop, take a look. Just great movement behind that plate and brings you so much confidence as a pitcher to know that whatever you throw, wherever you deliver it, you've got somebody like Kayla Kowalik behind the plate.
Continues that long lineage of all SEC catchers. That's what that catching mass, decade of dominance. That's how they refer to it. Robinson out to left center, over. 2 home runs on the day, 3 on the regional for the first year. Builds on the Northwestern lead.
What a game this is. Kansas Robinson sending another one deep. The second one, not only of the game, but of the same inning. Robinson seeing that ball. 2 runners on base for her, so that pushes 3 more runs across. Now a 4-1 lead for Northwestern. What are we watching? What a game.
This is dizzying, and in the best sense of the word. And the punch, counter punch, and how frantic this game has been offensively. 2 home runs in just the 3rd inning for Kansas Robinson to make it now a 10-6 contest. This ball shot out into the gap, and right center as Jordan Rudd will get into second with the stand-up double, and the momentum absolutely all purple right now.
Well, how bad do you want it? Northwestern showing how bad they want it. This pitch on the inside corner. Rudd swinging early on in the count, sending it into the gap. That allows her to get all the way to second base, and I still confirm that fact that the hit that comes after the home run is as crucial as anything. Allows you to continue that momentum that comes. You clear the bases, but you get another base runner on.
Yeah, you always see it if a pitcher comes back and gets a strikeout or a quick pop
it's about
out.
resilience, right?
You know, what it does to that momentum and just kind of sucks a little of that life out of the home run. But if you can continue to pass the bat. 11 batters thus far. Katie represents the 12th that Northwestern has seen.
Well, we kind of talked about it on the break of who's going to win this game, because at this point, there's no way of knowing. But, you know, to your point that you were saying, it's about finding that pitcher that settles in. And whoever has the pitcher that settles in for the remainder of this game ultimately should pull off a win. Because right now the bats are owning it.
The
on both
question
sides.
coming in was who's going to find their offense. Both teams have found their offense, no question there, with the 16 runs that we've seen. But now for Northwestern, you have Williams, who has come into this game and went 1, 2, 3 her last time in the circle, but next time out will have at least a 4-run lead. Could be more. Katie can potentially get Rudd across.
I feel like, though, the way this game is going, I mean, if you're, first of all, Williams has had a long break. There's been 8 runs scored in this inning. So does it cool her off enough that she doesn't kind of have her best stuff? Kentucky, on the other hand, doesn't give up fight. They can hit the ball. They've been hitting the ball solidly the entire game. So you can't let them back in either. And for me, the story of the game had started right when we figured that Williams potentially could get the start is, how does Williams face these Kentucky batters? Now we're going to have to see that for the rest of the game.
Kansas Robinson, the first year for Northwestern. I'm trying to effort with their sports information to see when was the last time a Northwestern player hit, but your dugout absolutely on fire right now. How's it feel down there?
Well, there's a lot of energy coming from both teams, actually. And after that first inning, when they put 3 up, you know, our team's like, okay, this is the kind of game it's going to be today. I like their composure and their poise and their decisiveness in the batter's box.
Coach, you've talked a lot about this being a veteran team that you can never count out. What is it about this group that makes them so competitive always?
You know, they've played from behind a lot. They played from ahead a lot, you know, so they understand the game. And they also understand that there's a lot left in this game here. I'd like to see our defense pick up a little bit, but there's a lot of fight left out here.
Coach, one last one for you. It kind of feels like whichever pitcher can settle in. You have Williams going back out into the circle after a 1-2-3 inning. What'd you see from her initially, and what do you want to see moving forward?
You know, I'd like to see her work from ahead, you know, and really take charge and keep them off time.
Coach, thank you for the time.
Thank you. Go Cats.
Here's the Be Better flag. We saw it flying earlier, and Northwestern's talked about that as the Drohans, the two coaches, their way to get you going. They're not yellers. Kate's not a yeller. Not the disappointment is what they don't want to feel. The flag of Be Better. It's a pillowcase and a tree branch. It's like some pirate crafting.
Thanks to Hannah Katie, third baseman.
Out there, but now you give a lead. So take me through, a lot to digest there in that interview, but first I want to start with the mentality as a pitcher. When you know, hey, Williams, you're going back out into the circle. This game has a lot of emotion, but now you're protecting a 4-run lead. How do you approach it?
Well, I think you breathe a little bit easier because you have that lead. I think there's a very different dynamic of the pressure it puts on you to have to throw from behind. Not that it's a bad pressure per se, it's just a different pressure. Now that you have the lead, you can't get anxious. You have to own and you have to keep doing what you're doing as if it's a 0-0 ball game.
That ball crushed. Oh my. Aaron Koffel. So you want to try to wrestle some momentum back into your dugout? That one may be in Iowa.
I can't believe how high that ball was. That was insane. And talk about a way to say, hey, we're not done yet. Aaron Koffel, the bat speed, the launch angle. And she sends this on top of Welsh Ryan Arena, showing the power and maybe putting an exclamation point on the fact that they're not done yet. And to your point again, pitchers have to settle in. Danielle Williams cannot allow this Kentucky offense to put more runners on board. You've got to throw your pitches. You've got to be perfect as a pitcher to get the outs. Let your defense do the work.
Well, Coach Drohan had just talked to us about Williams wanting to see her work ahead in counts, and that was a 1-1 pitch that was smashed. Heard about the VIP club of Welsh Ryan Arena when you land a ball on top. Kowalik, her last time up, had the 3-run shot. So choose your spots well to the top of this order. And for Kentucky, what better place to start the top of the 4th inning than the top of your lineup? Try to cut into this deficit now at 3. What it looked like initially, and the fans thought that ball was defted out of the air. That would have been an out, but called foul by the home plate umpire, Jonathan Hand.
So bouncing out of your squat is not that easy. Look how quick Jordan Rugg goes to get this, trying to catch it on the fly, just missing it. But how big would that out be? Kayla Kowalik, who is just phenomenal at the plate. 500 on base percentage. Now 502.
Started yesterday, the Kentucky game, showing a package of Kowalik and just her versatility.
Yeah.
And look no further than this at bat, where she shows bunt after a home run, a 3-run shot. Last time at the plate, she can do it so many different ways. Undercuts this ball over towards the Northwestern bullpen. It's good grab in the bullpen. This was earlier in the rundown. Had come up just a little hobbled. We had noticed it on the home run swing on the move out, maybe that left hip area. It had looked like, obviously, she stayed in the game.
Even on that foul ball, you saw a little bit of a hobble when she took a full swing all the way through.
Red will relay the throw down the first, and Cochran to get Kowalik a big out coming off the solo shot from Koffel.
Yeah, no doubt. That is the absolute out you want to get. You didn't get Koffel, but you did get Kowalik on this changeup way out in front, totally full, but you can still see the hobble from Kowalik. Didn't stop her from having the power to hit the home run her last at bat, but no doubt fighting through a little bit there.
Taylor Ebbs, who's felt very comfortable here at the J. The 5 RBI day yesterday. Lone blemish has been the last at bat in which she struck out. Had a single, first time up, third plate appearance of the game.
We've seen Williams introduce that changeup a little bit more here against Kowalik. And now Ebbs. She did not have a chance to deliver a changeup to Koffel before sending that one deep. Still going, I think.
Yeah. Had to get flight clearance at O'Hare.
It was one of those ones where the crowd was watching it and it was just silent in here.
Just
because obviously
deflating.
a Northwestern home crowd, but yeah, they just watched it and it was like, you can't help but get excited about a hit that is that good, but not your team.
Been one though for Williams and Northwestern on the other side. At least it's at the top of the order to begin the inning. There were nobody on base,
Yeah.
and you say, okay, all right, our deficit just got trimmed down to 3 for Kentucky, so our leading Northwestern still at 10-7. Just reconfigure. What can she do here? This ball is in play. Chance for out number 2 taken by the shortstop, Nelson. Both Kentucky and Northwestern joined by Miami, Ohio, and Eastern Illinois. Miami, Ohio making their 3rd consecutive NCAA regional appearance for EIU, their first ever. Winner of this one will get the rest of the day off. EIU and Miami will face off against one another. Loser of that one, their season ends. 2 teams will see their season come to a conclusion today. Loser of this one will have to reconfigure and play again in the nightcap for a chance to fight with their backs against the wall in the regional final tomorrow.
I think going back to that home run, if you can give up some solo shots here, as long as you're limited in what you give as the innings get deeper, you might be okay if you're Northwestern. It's about hitting home runs with multiple people on, and then the bounce back here, you know, that we have kind of talked about of just trying to get quick outs after you give up a home run, and Williams has done such a good job getting those 2 outs. That might be as much as settled in as we're going to get from a pitcher.
Yeah, Kentucky sent 8 to the plate in the first inning, 7 to the plate in the second inning, and then the 1, 2, 3 in the third. Out in the left field for out number 3. So after the solo shot from Koppel, back and forth was Kentucky that started with 3 runs. Then Northwestern 2, 3 more in the top of the second. No runs for full inning between Northwestern's at bat and then Kentucky's before Northwestern explodes. Last time at the plate to the tune of 8 runs. Kentucky responds with that solo shot. Still feels as if either team
totally
win this game.
It's way too close.
Yeah, I said maybe 10, 15 runs to get it done today earlier, maybe half jokingly, and now look at it.
I know.
10 may
now
not
it
get
might
it done.
be 10, 15 runs today.
You may want 12 to feel safe if you're Northwestern, obviously. Kentucky needing a couple more. Cochran will begin things.
When you look at this game, it almost feels like, you know, these teams can hit home runs at will. And these pitchers are good. The fielders are good. The hitters are just showing what they can do. It's been quite a performance offensively on both sides.
2-2 pitch. Easy work at second for Tobias. Yeah, this game, I mentioned, it has a lot of energy. It has a lot of emotion, has a lot of intensity. It feels like a lot of that's being channeled into the barrel of the bat and sent into the ball. Poor ball's getting punished today.
Yeah, and Kate Drohan kind of made that comment that, you know, she said, you know, once we saw the back and forth of the score, my team kind of figured, well, this is how it's going to be today. And you can kind of get settled into that you just can't stop. There's no stop. You've got to find a way to almost play to run every inning. Angela Zidak, one of the big long ball hitters here for Northwestern, leads the team in home runs.
For these two pitchers as well, Sullivan for Kentucky, Williams for Northwestern, can you find a way to string together outs? Maybe a series, especially getting later here, of 5 consecutive outs could put you in a really good position and just keep that momentum in your corner. If you're Northwestern, if you're Kentucky, all right, our deficit, we know what our work is. It has to be done.
I think ultimately, I mean, part of the name of this game for the rest of the game is going to have to be keep the ball in the ballpark for these defenses. But even if you do, limit it to a solo shot, not 3-run homers.
Another one high into the sky and into the glove of Tobias once again. 2 up, 2 down.
2 really good outs there. Again, we're starting to see a little bit of settling in from the pitchers. You know, you're still seeing the offense do some stuff, but for Sullivan here to get 2 quick outs.
Maeve Nelson will step in, had the 2-run shot last time up. Felt like for Nelson too, Robinson had got it started with that solo shot, and that interjected a little bit of life, but then there was some kindling, the single, then the double, then there was another single, but it was Nelson that really set the whole thing ablaze, so to speak, in the bottom of the 3rd, and really brought some life into her squad, into this crowd.
Well, and championships are won to me when the bottom of your lineup shows up. You got Maeve Nelson, 2 for 2 this game with that home run. You're right, that just kind of put a shot of adrenaline in.
That was their biggest hit, I would say biggest swing of the bat thus far this weekend.
6, 7, 8, 9 all scored runs. Nader and Donahue, who was a pinch hitter last inning, drew walks after the Maeve Nelson home run. Every single time a home run has been hit in this game, a Northwestern batter, whoever's followed that home run, has found a way to get on base. And I think that says a lot about where they've been able to answer and chip away at a pretty big deficit and now take the lead.
Much as you as a pitcher tried to jam up hitters, me, in my role, I like to try to jam up when we ask questions. And I asked Nelson and Cochran what Northwestern meant to them for these 5th-year players, and they both really had to take a moment. She had said, Maeve came here a girl, Kate turned her into a woman. You could tell the pride that both of them really have in this program. You had mentioned that earlier as she's hit by the pitch and will take a moment to trot out into right field.
This one just brushing across that wrist. You can see how it hits that outside part of her right wrist. Not a lot of padding there. Finds a way to get on base.
But you played for a program, you played for a coach with a lot of heritage, a lot of history, and you can really feel that when you get around this group, what it means for them to don the uniform and to be part of not only this softball program, but this university.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you have to have a culture and you have to have an ability to grow a program and get to a point where it's about winning.
Well, right now in a position to do such, but it's been a back and forth ball game. Speak with momentum that we've seen. Your team had it. It swung back and forth. What's the message to the team down in the dugout now?
Well, we just got to stay the course. You know, we got to get the momentum back, but we got to have good quality at bats and put pressure on the defense again, like we did at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, your offense, of course, has to be strong, but defensively, it feels like you were able to take a little bit of a breath in the last inning.
Yeah.
What do you like about what you've seen from Sullivan in the circle?
Oh, she's doing a good job. She's mixing speed. She's mixing zones. So she's been able to calm things down a little bit after that big inning.
Coach, we appreciate the time.
All right, thank you.
13 straight, mentioned 30 win seasons or more for Rachel Lawson, graduate of UMass. And one of the most impressive things when you look at this Kentucky group is their coaching staff. It's the longest tenured coaching staff in UK athletics and the longest in the SEC. Christine Himes, Molly Belcher, Brittany Cervantes, that group that has been together for a really long time. And in this day and age of coaches moving, players moving, and you can get that continuity in what you have culturally, there's no surprise that you get the results that we have seen from Kentucky over the years.
And even, you know, the draw hands together, and, you know, I came from a story program too where the coaches lasted a while, and it allows you to create that culture.
Borsung, that an important out for Williams for a batter that has been absolutely in the zone over the course of the weekend, and to have a short at bat and a first out to begin the 5th inning.
Yeah, all of it positive. Lorson could have changed, just like Koffel did the last inning, just changed the game with the swing of her bat. And solid liner in the gap, really changing and swinging that momentum again, like Coach Lawson was saying.
Another first pitch swung at by Miko Harrison, so 2 quick outs for Williams, and now make it, I'm going to try to sound like I know what I'm talking about, but that's 5 consecutive outs. I'd said which pitcher could string together some outs. That's now 5 in a row. 8 out of 9 for Danielle Williams.
Yeah, and you're right. That's exactly what it had to be, was settling in enough where you could string a couple outs together, and you're seeing that. I mean, you talk about needing to switch the momentum back into Kentucky's dugout, into their offense. Not the way to do it when you have 2 hitters that first pitch swing and get 2 quick outs.
Yeah, to get Lorson had reached base every time to the plate thus far. 4 hits and the walk last time up. So to start this inning.
And correction, Lorson did second pitch swinging for Lorson. Had a ball on her.
So it's been 3 pitches thus far. Coach Lawson will go to her bench. Hallie Mitchell, the sophomore from Forsyth, Illinois. 40-game player, 8 games that she had started, 182 average on the year, 55 at-bats coming into the regional, 10 hits, 3 of those doubles.
At this point, I think in that lineup, you're just trying to find somebody that's, you know, going to feel that momentum, that fight. I mean, you got to credit Northwestern for fighting every inning, knowing that they had to keep pushing the runs, but they got a goose egg bottom of last inning. And you really need to feel that from Kentucky to kind of chip away a little bit. Battle here.
3rd inning, the only inning in which Kentucky has not scored runs. Solo shot for Koffel in the 4th. A chance to go 1-2-3 here with the count 1-2 for Williams. Pop back. Just out of your reach.
I had you covered in case it hit you.
I'm all scorecard right now. No defense for me. Notes and scorecard up here. All right, 2-2. What's the pitch here if you're Williams?
Change up. Although I'd always go with the change up if I were Williams, but I think
You love that change.
I would do it just because you're ahead in the count. You just delivered a fast pitch and you got a pinch hitter here.
Ball in foul territory. Zidak there to make it a 1-2-3. They've seen an offensive explosion for both of these teams. Yesterday, Northwestern scored just 2 runs against EIU. But today, 10 on the board against Kentucky that did score 9 yesterday, but late in the game. As Grace Nito will begin. 9-hole hitter in the 5th inning for the purple Wildcats, not the blue Wildcats, in what I dubbed yesterday the Big Cat region. Red Hawks, the only non-Big Cat. EIU, the Panthers.
Well, this is a big at-bat for Grace Nito. She has not gotten a hit in her last 9 games. But in that 9 spot, needs to really find a way to get on base, turn that lineup over. Hallie Mitchell in left, Vanessa Nesby in center. That was a change because they burned Jenna Blanton. They already had her out of the game from a pinch hit early on in the game. They put Hallie Mitchell in. It's her second pitch hit. So then putting Mitchell in the outfield.
Was Blanton the first time through the lineup in that big first inning that chose to go with Borzilleri, but then re-entering Blanton. Second strikeout of the day for Kennedy Sullivan as Nito sits down.
Yeah, good start by Sullivan here. Screwball on that outside corner. Way too close for Nito to take a look at. You don't want to leave it up to an umpire, but that was a beautiful pitch on the corner anyway.
Back to the top of the order, Skylar Schellmeyer, 4th plate appearance of the day. Had a single in the first, popped out in the second. Fielder's choice in the third.
You can see the outfield shaded in a little bit. Schellmeyer sends most everything to the left side of the field, so the outfield in that shallow left field.
Back up the middle, shot through by Schellmeyer. And that big to have somebody in front of Robinson.
Yeah, sending it yard twice. Her last inning, 2 at-bats, turned the lineup over, and both times sending it over the fence and really making a statement offensively as the DP in this game. I don't know, but I'd give her anything good here. I suppose the alternative is that you could play the odds and say she can't hit 3 home runs in one game. But I don't know, I'd give her the chance.
Yeah, maybe they are looking into it, but for Northwestern, maybe the first time a player in program history has hit 2 home runs in 1 inning. Couldn't find anything thus far as to when it has happened before, but what a moment, what a day, what a weekend thus far. First time in the postseason for the first year in Kansas Robinson.
Well, this is a Northwestern team that pretty much reloaded from last year's Women's College World Series team, but they lost Rachel Lewis, who is one of their best hitters, if not their best hitter, and they relied a lot upon what she could do offensively. So when you have a first year coming in that is as solid and performing in the postseason, maybe as well as Rachel Lewis has so far this game.
Back up the middle, chance to get the lead runner, maybe two for Kentucky. Safe is Robinson, but out is Shellmeyer over at second.
But just to finish my thought, you get somebody like Robinson that does so well. Now you've got an offense that's a complete 1 through 9, and this a great ground ball out to get her and the lead runner.
Number 36, Jordan.
Just a quick toss from Tobias. Good attempt at the double play. So Robinson beats it out.
Rudd will watch that ball scoot past Kowalik, so into scoring position is Robinson.
And this pitch in the dirt, just getting underneath and through the legs of Kowalik. Back, doesn't take the hop that Kowalik was expecting.
Called over it short to make the grab by Koppel for out number 3. 10-7, things stand, 6th inning.
For Kentucky, that's where Northwestern really has to be perfect defensively. And Nesby is still seeking her first hit.
You mentioned it earlier. Can you get production?
Yeah.
From that bottom half, that bottom third of your lineup? Nelson had done it with a big out to start the inning. 7 consecutive. Really, you go back to that third inning when it went 1, 2, 3. For Williams has allowed just the 1 home run in Koppel.
Yeah, and I think that if you get a Koppel up again, you can allow that solo. But right now, Kentucky looking to try to find anything they can to battle. Look at the difference in the production. And Riley Smith at the plate.
Spot of Tobias. Tobias had a single and struck out, but Smith, the senior from St. Louis, Missouri, as Coach Drohan for Northwestern will come down. Get some clarification. Everybody thought, at least in purple, it was a strike. Let's take a look at it.
And the bat has to cross the plane of the plate. You can see how she kind of punched at it. And they said that she did not. You can see the reaction from Jordan Rudd behind the plate, definitely offering there. Called a ball.
That ball in fair territory. Cochran takes it herself, taps the bag, 2 up, 2 down. Erin Koppel, though, last time at the plate, sent one soaring well on to the top of the arena.
I mean, that had as much height as it had distance. It was, she got all of it. And I think in this case, you want to be careful about throwing to Koppel, of course, but the benefit of getting 2 quick outs is because of the power she has. And if you give up a solo shot here, when you get into the innings, you still have the lead versus getting runners on, finding a way to chip away at that lead a little bit more, a little bit quicker.
Single was in the first, the walk was in the second, scored there, and then the home run. The efficiency as well for Williams. Talked about those 2 quick outs across 3 pitches to begin the last inning. But 2 quick ones she has gotten. Begin the 6th and can deal with Koppel. Good strike there by Williams. Not afraid to go at
Koffel in spite of the success that she's had so far this game.
53 career home runs for Erin Koffel coming into the regional, 8 short of Abby Cheek for the program all-time lead. The junior also 27 runs batted in, short of the program lead, so would think that she's got a pretty good chance of walking out as one of the best Wildcats for Kentucky. But the Wildcat on the other side, Danielle Williams, one of the SEC. It started with the offense from Kentucky, 3 in the top of the first and 2 in the bottom of the first for Northwestern, 3 more for Kentucky. But then after a quiet top of the third inning that goes 1-2-3 when Danielle Williams enters the game, the ace pitcher for Northwestern, their offense explodes for 8 runs in the bottom of 3 as this inning begins with Katie thrown out. Bang, bang play over at first, but Kentucky and Sullivan, as we've seen 3 pitchers in the circle, trying to keep that deficit at just 3.
And this was a hard hit ball that kind of ate up Tobias. But credit to Tobias for just staying calm as that ball bounced around and still made a bullet throw to get Katie out for that first out of the inning.
Cochran still hitless in the regional. Does have the sac fly. That was in the third. Last time up, popped out to second. If I would have told you, hey, Northwestern put 10 on the board, you would have think, well, Cochran's going to be a huge part of that in their offense. But it takes a team. And
well, and Cochran's come through in her own right. And like I said, you know, if you're scouting a team and you're circling the best hitters and you pitch them hard, the benefit is for a team to be solid 1 through 9 so that maybe that hitter doesn't produce, but the rest of them find a way to pick up the batters. I think sometimes in a situation with Kentucky, when you see Kowalik, who struck out her last at bat, Koffel, who struck out her last at bat, those are 2 of the absolute momentum setters of that lineup.
shallow center field, that'll drop in for Cochran.
And any way you can, they've been jamming Cochran the entirety of this game. And this one no different. She gets jammed, but she turns enough on it to kind of bloop it into no man's zone as it falls in there. Finds a way to get on base.
Amy Farnham will come in, senior from Crystal Lake, Illinois, to pinch run for Cochran. Angela Zidak, the senior.
Entering the game as a runner for Northwestern, number 12, Emily Farnham. Now batting,
Stepping into
Angela Zidak.
some older Drake. You a Drake fan?
I'm a country fan.
Okay, fair enough. No crossover from Drake into the country realm.
Give me a little bit of Luke Combs, now we're talking.
Okay. 1 for 3 is Zidak hitting out of the 6th hole. Fouls off the 2-0 pitch.
I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel like they need insurance runs. They're up by 3, and I still feel like Northwestern, in order to pull a win off here, has to find a way to push a few more across, because all it takes is a little bit of a rally. You've got Kayla Kowalik starting the inning off
It'll be 2, 3, 4 that's due up for Kentucky, and you would like to get it to where at least one swing of the bat. So 4 or more isn't going to hurt you, but the encouraging aspect for Northwestern is that Williams really looks comfortable. Just back up the middle, lead runner down over at second, not enough on the throw to turn 2, so they get the pinch runner in Farnham for the second out. And I'd mentioned this for Maeve Nelson, one of the leaders on this team, that this really felt like the biggest hit of the weekend thus far for Northwestern, that popped the top off the metaphorical lid here at the J.
Yeah, Maeve Nelson is just one of those grad players that has been here for a long time. She's produced beautifully over the course of her career. Maybe her batting average not showing as much as she did this year, but now starting to have that success here in the postseason. And I think a lot of support behind her bat, especially when she's able to put the team ahead the way she did.
She was hit by the pitch last time, taking an extra little trot out to right field, shake it off. So Sullivan and Kentucky, the defense, trying to know what their work will be in the top of the 7th inning. Winner of this one gets the rest of the day off. Lucky them.
Well, and that's why it pays to stay in the winner's bracket. You get the rest of the day off. You get a chance to relax. You save your pitcher's arms. Everybody else has their backs against the wall.
After this, it'll be EIU, Eastern Illinois, making their first NCAA tournament appearance, so their second NCAA tournament game in program history, facing off against Miami, Ohio. Miami out of the MAC. There are the Panthers warming up. Champs out of the MAC, the Red Hawks. They lost to Kentucky 9-1. It'll be interesting for Miami, who they put in the circle. As you can see one of those teams advance and keep their season alive. One will see their season end. Nelson uses the pitching wedge underneath that one out to center. Find a rally. Great place to start in the 2-hole for the Wildcats and Kayla Kowalik. 1 for 3 on the day. The 3-run shot, the 1 hit, but still have to wonder if she's labored by, it looked like left leg, left hip. We had seen early in the game that sparked Kentucky to that 3-run first inning in that rundown where she was able to dive in safely to third, but the swing was not affected. But just keep an eye on her movement, especially if Kentucky were to have to sit throughout this second game if they can't come back well out in front of that one and then play another game later this evening.
And what a perfect time for a changeup. You're behind in the count against Kayla Kowalik, and you have to deliver a pitch, but you know that Kowalik is going to attack whatever. To me, green light, a 2-0 count.
Hot shot to Cochran. Makes the grab between the legs, trying to go 5-hole. Great snare by the first baseman.
And how huge was that out? This was a screamer at Cochran, a reaction catch. You can see how quickly she had to glove that. Look what I found. Huge out.
I know we're in the middle of the hockey playoffs in the NHL. That looked pretty good. Glove side. There's some where it's just reaction protection, right? You're just going into
that was
protect mode.
reaction.
Yeah, that was perfect. Beautiful play, and more importantly, a tremendous first out to get for Williams in the circle and Northwestern defensively. A team that's perfect here at home this season, 12-0. Third longest streak in D1. Going back 22 games that they have not lost here at the J. You think a long season, you look at Northwestern, 50 games and think, well, they've only played about 12 at home. When you play in Evanston and you play this far north, that usually happens. That you don't have that advantage of playing a ton of games early in the season at home, and then as you split up conference play and go on the road. But they value playing here at home, and their fans have definitely given them a boost of life. Today, 6 strikeout on the contest for Williams.
And Daniel Williams just starting to own this lineup on that changeup, bringing it in the zone twice to Ebbs, getting the K. If you're asking me the biggest defensive moments so far this game, the Aaron Koppel K to end last inning and that line out to Cochran. A couple strikeouts scattered to get the outs, but I mean, if you take the top of the lineup and you limit what they can do, you are in control of this game. Northwestern did it when it mattered. Now it's about the middle of the lineup down to the bottom to find a way to bounce back in a 2-out rally here.
Kennedy Sullivan, it's 11 consecutive. Been retired by Williams. I was double checking my count there, and before that it was just that solo shot sprinkled in by Koffel. It started for Williams in the 3rd inning, where she goes 1, 2, 3 to the bottom trio of the order for Kentucky, and then just the blemish to Koffel, but then 3 consecutive outs, another 3 consecutive in the 5th, another 3 consecutive in the 6th, and had asked which pitcher could come in and string together outs, and Williams has not done just a half inning and a half, 2 innings. She's been rolling.
Rolling and scattering those 6 Ks. I mean, the best way to settle in is to get those Ks. And she's been doing it here. That's the thing, you deliver a changeup and it's in the heart of the plate over 50% of the time. She's not trying to get you to fish for it. She's saying, here's my changeup, see if you can hit it, and if you don't want to swing at it, I'm going to deliver a strike anyway. And that's what makes it so dangerous.
1 strike away. This swing, keeping her team alive. Off the wall, bounce it does Kennedy Sullivan. So not quite yet. Kentucky, their 8th run on the solo shot from Sullivan.
You can almost feel that Sullivan was kind of due for that. Wanting to keep her team in the game, this was served right over the plate. If you can put the ball in the heart of the plate to some of these Kentucky batters, they're going to send it. They're not done yet.
Well, still, how big do those outs of Kowalik and Ebbs look, that you were able to not have any traffic on there? That's been the swing. It's 2 on, it's a tie game, but now it doesn't hurt you in the sense if you can come back into Williams and the defense getting it out. But arguably the hardest out of the weekend across any of the 4 teams has been the player stepping in.
Yeah, and you have to limit that, but again, nobody on base. You had changed the way the beginning of this inning worked. It could be a different ballgame right here. Williams did get Lorson for the first time, her last at bat. So
pop up into her own glove. Prior to that, the walk. Prior to that, the double after a 3-for-3 day yesterday. But Lorson with the deficit at just 2, but only 1 out to work with for Kentucky. Some zip on that pitch from Williams.
And this is when it gets dangerous. You get the 0-2 count from Williams, and now you're having to battle and kind of identify when that changeup might be delivered. Try to hack away at the fast stuff.
Coach Kate Drohan for Northwestern said she wanted of Williams to work ahead in counts. It always feels like when she is ahead, that changeup becomes even more deadly, to your point.
Now you don't have to deliver the changeup in the zone. You know, you can make it spin low and out of the zone, get batters to fish.
Kelsey, a little bit more.
And you can give up solo shots when you need to, when you have a 3-run lead, but only so often. You give up the one here and just get out of the inning. Nothing hurt.
1-2 pitch. This ball chipped down, coming down. Williams to field, relayed to first. Northwestern remains undefeated at home, but this one, it took some work, momentum back and forth. Heavyweight matchup blows, but Northwestern wins 10.
Whenever I look into your eyes, I find less peace and love for me. You are everything that I have ever wanted. I want to spend every second of my life with you. I don't know if some kind of a magical agreeing with you. So the joy effect that I have turned us away. So did the effect on your smile on me in my life. Baby, you are and will remain mine forever and ever. Whenever I look into your eyes, I find less peace and love for me. You are everything that I have ever wanted. I want to spend every second of my life with you. I don't know if some kind of a magical agreeing with you. So the joy effect that I have turned us away. So did the effect on your smile on me in my life. Baby, you are and will remain mine forever and ever. I don't know if some kind of a magical agreeing with you. So the joy effect that I have turned us away. So did the effect on your smile on me in my life. Baby, you are and